Yo.
How's it going?
Good, brother. How are you?
I'm alright. I'm annoyed because I had to get my laptop, but...
I can hear the annoyance in your voice.
Well, I'm annoyed because I didn't, I was so sure that this adapter, because why the fuck wouldn't it work? And so I didn't, worry about my laptop today, so my laptop's at, 23% battery. So...
Yeah, that's about where my phone is right now, actually.
Well, good, then.
It's been a rough day, yeah. So we're both just cut out in the middle of this thing.
I was going to say, if you thought that it couldn't get any more unprofessional, guess again. This is...
We bring it to the next level every time, except it's a step down level. It's the next level of unprofessionalism is actually a step down.
Right.
I think it's one of those one step forward, two steps back. Every episode, we take a step forward as far as the amount of episodes, but we take two steps back in quality.
True. It's true. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what we're going for, man. So, besides the laptop finagle, how's your life going, man?
Pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Baby's falling into a sleep routine. I feel like maybe I said this last week as well, but if I did, I was lying last week because the baby's a fucking hellion.
Of course.
But
of course,
starting to maybe fall into a routine. My son's awesome. He's great. It was just his birthday, so he was spoiled.
Yeah. And, super pumped, dude. Yeah.
And I was able to build some garden beds in the greenhouse. So.
Wow, man, you're just wilding out over there.
Good
you're
things.
Susie
How about
Homemaker.
you? How about you, man?
I'm good. I'm back on the road, so I'm currently lodging at a Hampton. So it's nice. It's good. It's life, I guess, back in the hotel. So I'm in a more metropolitan area than I normally am. I'm in a larger city, or the outskirts of a larger city than I normally am. So definitely a different group of people, for sure. I just took my weekly Rage pilgrimage to the gas station. Every week I have to take the pilgrimage to get the Rage started right before the show. You know what I mean?
What do you do? What do you do there? Do you just go there looking for shit to be mad at?
Yeah, pretty much, dude. Pretty much. No, I go there and, I get everything settled in because, we record this in old man terms late in the evening, which is not really late by any means, but, in my old man body.
I was going to say, it's late in dad years.
Yes, yeah. I would be asleep. I would absolutely be asleep by now. Dad time. Dad time runs on a different, it's like Margaritaville, man. It just runs on a different different frame of existence. But so I wouldn't just, I go and I get my food, and I go and I get my drinks, and I get my milkshake, because every night I have to drink a milkshake.
How are you able to consistently find a milkshake at a gas station?
Dude, it's not always at a gas station. Sometimes it's at a fast food place, but I always find a gas station. I believe that the milkshake, if I drink a milkshake per night, for whatever reason, I've been doing this since I stopped drinking. So now it's like a ritual where I think if I drink the milkshake, it scares the alcohol demons away.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
So, I don't think about alcohol because I'm slurping on that delicious milkshake, right? Because usually about this time of night is when I'd be drunk as fuck. So, ever since I stopped drinking, I've had a milkshake every night. No exaggeration since I've stopped. There's been few and far between nights where I have not consumed a milkshake since, 6 years now. 6 fucking years that I've been drinking.
That's hilarious. That's 6 years. Every single night.
Almost, yeah. There's occasionally been nights where it just hasn't panned out that way. Things have went really badly for me.
What are those nights? What are those nights like? Are you just white knuckling it?
Not necessarily. Usually, I'm rage sleeping.
Chewing on sugar cubes and ice cubes together.
Just mixing them around in my mouth with a spoon. No, usually I'm like rage sleeping because I mean if the night has gone poorly enough where I end up without a milkshake, I'm pretty angry. But I mean like there's time, like I'll go camping and stuff like that or hiking and not have a milkshake. Like it's not the end of the world, but I like to have one.
Yeah.
But tonight I gotta say, like, it didn't pan out for me. I didn't find anything to be enraged about, and instead I think I passed it on to another customer.
Really?
Because there was a guy raging at. Tonight's been a weird night for me, man. Yeah, I went to a travel plaza, and it had a couple different restaurants that had a Sbarro's pizza, which I don't know if that's like a national thing in the United States, but it's definitely like a northeastern part. Like when I travel up to the northeastern states, they definitely have them up there. So I got myself a Sbarro's pizza, and when I was waiting in line, so it's right next to, because it's like a travel plaza, it's right next to a Popeyes, and I don't know what it is about fried chicken that just gets people going, dude. But, like, I swear I have heard more stories about stabbings over fried chicken than any other food.
What?
Any other food. Yes. I guarantee you, if you look up violence related to food.
Okay.
The most is fried chicken. I don't know what it is, dude. I don't know what. I just heard a story a couple weeks ago on another podcast about a pregnant lady stabbing another lady in line at a Popeyes, like in the car.
To be fair,
because she cut in front of her in line.
That's a pregnant. Yeah, you don't cut in front of a pregnant woman.
Sure.
Anywhere.
It's always these situations related to fried chicken.
Yeah, but that one is a fluke. That one is a fluke. She would have done that in any food line.
On the line of this Popeyes, right?
Right.
I agree. I don't disagree with you. I've seen pregnant women and they are not happy. But I was in line at this Popeyes.
But boy, do they get you off, man.
Swear to God, dude. So, but so there's this guy there, and this, to be fair, this is a travel plaza, right? It's a truck stop.
Yeah.
This guy is about probably 10th in line.
Like one you used to
in a
work
line
at?
Of, huh?
Like one of those places you used to work at?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, not off of a turnpike, but off of just like a regular interstate.
Sure.
So not
same
like,
idea.
Not like.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I think I know the one you're talking about.
Possibly. So there's a Popeyes, and this guy's in line. He's probably about 10th in line, and it's mostly truck drivers. And this guy starts like just very loudly speaking, and I can only assume he was having a conversation with another gentleman, and it just escalated to him screaming like, "This is a truck stop. There's no reason everybody else except for truck drivers should be in this place. Everybody else should go somewhere else. This is a truck stop. I have a half an hour break from my driving now, and I'm trying to get something to eat," right? This dude's screaming, dude.
See, I'm a
yelling,
goddamn hero.
And the problem is there's 3/4 of the crowd is truck drivers in line. So like, yeah, I'll tell you what, nobody stand up for the truckers now, dude. Like, dude, just screaming, everybody's hooting and hollering, and it's like all these like really country folk, dude, like these really
Did it make you want to leave?
I felt a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I was in line for Sbarro's. So I wasn't impeding this gentleman's food getting abilities
but you were still
at all.
there.
And I kind of wanted to speak up because I'm like, dude, it's a travel plaza. But I also thought back to the amount of stabbings that there are over fried chicken. I thought back to the amount of stabbings that they are.
That's what your mind went to?
Yeah, and I was like, nope, just keep my mouth shut. Just keep my mouth shut. Because normally I'm that asshole that would speak up and be like, nah, dude, come on, let's look at the facts here, man. There's there's literally 6 other gas stations in the quarter-mile vicinity, all of which who has restaurants. You didn't have to stop at the Popeyes that has a line out the fucking door, right? There's a ton of other restaurants you could have went to. I'm getting my Sbarro's in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Hop over to the Sbarro's line, right? But dude, once people get fried chicken in their mind, man, it just, and this isn't like a racist thing by any means. This is like black, white, Asian, dude. Once you get fried chicken in your mind, it is just chaos. It is people's blood boils because of, I don't know what they're putting in the fucking breading on the fried chicken, but it's like crack. Dude, it's like fucking crack. And I stay clear of fried chicken. I know what it can do to people. I know what fried chicken can do to people.
I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of chicken. Like, I eat it, but like,
I love chicken. I don't love fried chicken, dude. It's just not my jam, not my thing.
So I would have been in that Sparrow line. Like, if there, I love pizza. I would stab people the way people would stab people for chicken, but I would do it for pizza.
I feel like the pizza crowd, though, they're just so filled with all the greases. What do you think a slice of pizza
goes for in a prison?
Oh.
Versus what you think a chicken leg goes for.
Seeing as how I've been in jail, and I know what the trading system, what the bartering system's like in there, dude. Because I almost got killed over a pair of socks. So, like, I know what that whole... Dude, I will tell
Certainly pizza is over socks, right?
Oh, dude, 100%. Yes.
Well, but you got to think, though, like, you don't want damn socks while in prison.
Well, the problem is they give you no socks in prison. You have to buy socks, or you're just wearing those hard-ass flip-flops with no socks on. And they're like pieces of concrete.
Is it the Bob Barker collection still?
Oh, I would assume. I mean, I haven't been to jail in quite some time, but yeah, dude, it was all Bob Barker when I was in there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Wow. All Bob Barker brand everything. Basically, the main things that you wanted to get a hold of from commissary was fireballs. For whatever reason, fireballs were really awesome. Mountain. Yeah. Now, what you got to do so that you can make it last is and I learned this trick, and I still do it to this day. I learned this from, I befriended this older black gentleman who'd been in, like, literally every prison, like, in the country, I'm pretty sure. Like, he told me so many stories about different jails that he had been in. But, so he taught me a lot. He kind of took me under his wing, but not, like, in a bitch kind of way, like in a Shawshank Redemption kind of way. Think more Shawshank Redemption, right? Okay. Like, we befriended each other.
Yeah.
Okay? So, what you got to do is you throw the fireball on the ground and break it up into pieces. That way you just suck on a little piece at a time, and you can make it last long. You savor the fireball.
Wait, so can someone have people seen you, like, in a gas station parking lot throwing your fireball on the ground and then, like, munching up these little pieces like a fucking... like crack addict?
Well, no, they don't fall out. You throw it in the bag still, so they bust in the bag, and then when you open up the bag, you got all the little pieces. Okay, that's a big thing. And then also, the jalapeno Cheetos is a big thing, and I'll tell you what we do with those. So you take the jalapeno Cheetos, and you don't just eat them like Cheetos. You crush them up.
Of course.
And you use that as seasoning because there's no seasoning on anything. Yeah. And it's got like the salty, cheesy spiciness of it. Yeah. And you put those fucking jalapeno Cheetos seasoning on anything. I still do that to this day.
Yeah.
Because it's delicious, dude. Yeah, it's delicious.
There's a person that still, slowly in the works. Another documentary. So the documentary that you referenced. Like episode 1 or 2 that I was clueless about. That person, though, and one of his experiences in prison was, the food aspect of it, and he says he still does like a lot of. He was like he said he used to be excited for, like, they would do, like, a couple of them get together and do prison nacho night, and Slim Jims and those sorts of things that would all be used. He said that if you get your hands on enough nutmeg, you can get high from it.
Yes, 100%. Yes, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So he said he had done that once, but didn't really like the high.
It's similar to like the high you get. It's a deliriant kind of high. So it's not like it has mysteriosin in it, mysteriosin or something. That's some little I can't recall off the top of my head. But
it sounds like sounds like a WWF wrestler.
Mysteriosin, dude. But it's got it's like a deliriant kind of high. I think is what it is. So it's not very.
What does that mean? Like
you
that type of car?
It's like similar to, no, it's like Datura or things like that where you like actually see real hallucinations. Like it's not like tripping. It's like how how they portray tripping in movies. That's what it's actually like. Like you're like always dropping these phantom cigarettes and you lose track of time completely and you're like seeing things that aren't really there. Like you're the lamp will look like a person. You'll sit for an hour talking to the lamp just like it's not very and very dangerous as well. Especially a lot of cardiac issues.
Yeah, I don't think you'd want to do that in prison.
I mean, I feel like this is a good way to get I don't know, dude, but you're really asserting dominance if you sit and talk to your fucking shoe for an hour and a half. Like, people are going to be like, that crazy motherfucker, dude. You don't want to...
Right.
You don't want to fuck with that guy.
He can keep his fireballs.
No way, no how. So anyways, after this whole Popeyes experience, then I go to the gas station and there's a cop in line next to me, and I'm just like, hey, how's your night going? Is it been quiet? And he's like, no. He's like, I just had to pick up, or I got a call. I had to go to the post office.
This is the cop.
And there was a guy. Yeah, the cop had got a call to go to the post office, he said. And he said that there was a guy with his face painted red asleep in the post office.
What?
And I was like, oh, okay. And I'm like, so what, you just like had to go swoop him up? And he's like, no, I just asked him to go sleep somewhere else. It's like, well, why is his face red? There's so many questions here that I need to know the answer to. Why is he asleep in the post office?
I think a lot of cops are just like, they're defaulting to this, like, yo, if I can just, like, yell at you from 10 feet away, like, get the fuck out of here, like, just because you don't want to get sick. Right. That's why, like, just like, hey, get the fuck out of here. All right, cool. Right. I'm not chasing you this time.
Just go. Get your face painted ass out of here and sleep somewhere else. Yeah, dude, I don't know, man. That's awesome. I just really wanted to pick his brain, but like I felt like he just didn't, you know what I mean? Like he probably wasn't going to answer any of my questions, but I was like, I just want to know what's up. Like, why is this dude's face painted red? Like, what led to the scenario where you end up at a post office, face painted full red like the devil, and just sleeping?
They must have had a hell of a day.
Yeah, dude, he's got a great story to tell after this.
I mean, seriously, where did you end up? Dude, there's someone, I have to like change events and stuff here, but like if someone was on to me, they definitely know who I am from this. But at a recent get together, there was someone who brought a friend who proceeded to get like shit-faced. And this is a get together that don't do that.
Okay. Was this your son's birthday party, dude? I'm hoping.
No.
Just getting shit-faced at kid's birthday party like this guy's just boys.
No. Like important people and whatnot. And from what we've been told since, this dude, he like whenever he left, like he still went out to bars or something, and then when he got home, he was actually at like the wrong house and and broke in, and
no,
because he felt like he lost his keys. And, fell asleep just on the couch. I'm sure once he was, like, getting real confused about, like, none of this makes sense. Like, this doesn't look like any of my stuff. I'll just lay here. You
right?
know?
Hey, man, we've all been there. We've all been there.
And then you know, gets arrested and wakes up in jail the next day.
See, I am so lucky. This actually almost happened to me once. We were at a friend's house who was a drummer for the band at one point in time, but not the one like that we were really close with. The one that his name starts with an A. Lived in Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Got it.
Okay. We were over at his parents' house once, and I got super wasted. And I was not familiar with his parents' house. That was the first time I've been there. And they live like in like a little community where all the houses looked.
Oh, really?
They all look the same.
Oh, man.
And I got super wasted, and I went like in my car for like a hot minute. Like I don't even know. I was probably smoking weed, and I got out, and
for sure you were smoking weed.
Probably, yeah. And I walked up to the stumbled would be more accurate, up to the wrong house and tried to get in, and the door was locked, and I thought the guys were just fucking with me. So I started pounding on the door, screaming, "Let me the fuck in, dude," and kicking the door.
Oh,
and
God.
They came out, dude, but like from the house next door, like, "What the fuck are you doing, you asshole?" And I was sitting at the neighbor's house kicking the fucking door. The fucking dog's barking, dude, lights are turning on, there's like a woman screaming inside. So luckily he was able to like talk the neighbors down from calling the cops on me. But yeah, I could have been in that same situation had those people not been cool.
One time I watched him talk us out of being arrested, actually. After being pulled over driving way too fast. And not that I condone this or am proud of it, but we were definitely intoxicated.
Oh, I'm sure.
And like we left a place, him and I, and we were gonna head back, and I said I'm too drunk, and I know that. Can you drive? So he was like, "Oh, fuck, well, okay." And I remember, like, we just get on the on-ramp, start going, and eventually just like you know, like lights and sirens pull us over.
Sure.
And I remember, dude, I wonder if I could find, like, I remember the video. I took a video of this once.
Why?
Because I was so drunk that it was one of those moments where it's like, oh, we're getting arrested. Like, I might as well let the camera roll and see what it picks up.
Okay, all right.
And we were laughing about something, and by the time he turned his head like to the driver's side like window, you know, to see if the cop's coming up yet, the cop was already there, like Super Trooper style. Like we were just like, fuck, you know. And like however he did it, he talked us out of, like, he got us out of any sort of trouble, and the cops sent us on our way.
He was a smooth talking son of a bitch.
Yeah, seriously.
He was a smooth talking son of a bitch for sure, no doubt. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you know what you could have done with that video, like all the other idiots that do really stupid stuff and do this with this video, is you could have put it on social media.
It's true.
Seems like everybody who does something illegal decides that it's a great idea to put it on Facebook, specifically Facebook. Why, I don't know. But everybody who does something illegal is like, you know what I'm going to do now that I've done this illegal thing and gotten away with it?
Oh, and I'm going to tag the other person who did it with me.
I'm going to put it on Facebook so I can get fucking busted.
Mm-hmm. So,
I don't know, man. The stupidity of people never ceases to amaze me. I'm dumbfounded constantly.
Yeah, and it goes to there's two things here, I think, with social media, and it's like, the way I see it is it's split 50-50 here, right? So you've got, and everyone kind of lives both of these scenarios here. You got one where it's the viewers who more or less are like they are virtual voyeurs, right? Like everyone is allowed to be a virtual voyeur now. Like you live on these platforms where people are just showing you like the insides of their houses, the you know, like just like behind the scenes everything. Like you are just a virtual voyeur. Now,
that's true.
The other side of it is you are the leading actor, actress in your own movie, and you are putting your best life online for those voyeurs to watch.
It's bizarre, man. It's the whole idea of, I mean, I think of what social media had. Like, I mean, obviously it was a good idea. It's ginormous, but like what it's become, I think I would imagine is pretty far from what was originally intended. Like at this point, it's such a bizarre thing. I have a hard time describing it. Like it's like this constant cat and mouse game of being cooler than your fake friends, I guess is the best way to put it.
Well, yeah, that's all it is. It's a it's a way. It's like a way of you being able to like feel like it's okay to be self-absorbed. Like, 'cause that's all you're showing online ever is like how great your life is, how great things are, or you're doing the opposite because like you just need the attention that fucking bad. Like regardless, it's just an attention whore thing. It's just this outlet, or it's an outlet for you to plug yourself into to kind of gauge and measure how much people give a fuck about you.
But see, the strange thing is, I feel like the people who are the most popular on social media are probably the ones that people genuinely give the least fuck about.
I mean,
I see these people who have...
How so?
I mean, like, you have these people who have, like, tens of thousands of, like, followers and friends and whatever it may be on Instagram. I think it's just followers. And, I mean, like, these people are, like, uber, like social media, like, famous. And, I mean, sure, I'm sure that, like, these people, you know, when they see something, like a picture come up on Instagram from this person, they like it. But, like... I mean, like, in real life, I can't help but feel like these people are probably the ones who have the least people who care about them because they're constantly stuck to their phones and tablets and things like that. Like, when it comes to real friends and compassion, if you're devoting your whole life to social media, you can't be devoting much time to having any real life whatsoever.
It's tough, yeah. But also, if you think about it, that's not, you know... You're seeing so much of their life, yes, but the fact that you can do all these things to make it some sort of monetary value, where they're like the biggest names, like that this is all that is their job. Think about like other workaholics, like they still, like most of them still make time for friends or whatever, and you can still do the same, but this is just your job. You know,
I guess if you approach it as from like that standpoint, as it is your job and you're going to do this like during X time and not doing this during other times, then I guess I could see that. But I feel like this is more. I mean, they make money off of this. They found a way to make money off of this. But I still feel like the people who, like, even if they didn't make money, they would still do this because of the attention that they probably don't get in real life. Like, I feel like at least half of the people who are like crazy popular on social media, I feel like would still do it. I mean, to some extent, I can relate, and I hate to say that, but I mean, like, even if I mean, I guess I can say, like, not even if, like, I don't make money off of my music, but I still put it out there for people to hear because I genuinely want people to hear it, and I look forward to people to hearing it, and I look forward to, you know, I guess to some, if I'm being completely honest, to some level, like, you know, the attention I get from my music. I think any artist is lying if they say that they're, you know, aren't somewhat excited about, you know what I mean, like the attention that you get from your art. I think you're a total liar if you say otherwise. guys. I mean, you can do it for the art still, sure, but I don't think there's anybody who doesn't seek some sort of attention through their art as well, or you would have never heard of them, right? Like you'd never know of these people in general. So
yeah, I mean, yeah, I just ultimately, like, the big thing, I'm not on, you can't find me because I'm not on it. You know, I'm not on any of it.
Yes.
Because
yes, I know that.
Because I don't find the personal value in it because of everything we're discussing, right? However, that's where, like, I also understand that I'm the outlier. I understand that that's where the entire fucking, like, world lives, like, for, like, Twitter, for, like, that's just where everyone just, like, is, like, it's just your main source of news, because you can get the exact type of news you want, like, just by following specific things, you know. Like, I understand the importance of it all, I suppose, and that's why I understand, like, some people are more business savvy to know how to make money off of it, and then other people, I think, are just such sorry fucks that sometimes get, like, a glimmer of fame out of it, and then it goes away, and those are the ones that keep doing it just because they think they're still getting attention, you know. When, like, when really, like, okay, like, even if you're getting attention, like, not all attention, like, converts to paychecks, you know, like, most of it's just fucking sad. I totally agree. And the voyeurs, the virtual voyeurs, like to watch both, like, really successful people and, like, really sad people, because the sad, pathetic people are also, like, super entertaining. So, like, you know,
right? And I mean, like, also you feel better about your life when you, like, watch, like I mean, like I said, it's a cat and mouse game where it's like, you know, like, my life, like, it might not be as cool as Jen, who is constantly vacationing and, like, posting pictures of, like, her trips to Africa, but at least I'm cooler than Sandy, who's a fucking cunt, and she just fucking sits at home and writes, like, poems about how sad she is and puts them on Facebook, right? Like, Sandy's posting pictures with her cats and shit, like, covered in face paint, red, passed out in a fucking post office. So at least I'm not Sandy. So, I mean, like, I don't know, but I am not a huge fan of social media, like, myself being on social media. I'm also, like I would say, if it wasn't for my music, like, I was never on social media except, like, before, like, my music, like I started kind of coming back within my music stuff. I just wasn't a fan of it. I kind of had the same philosophy. I mean, we've had this conversation many a time, and we kind of have the same philosophy on it. But I'm also not going to deny that now that I'm on here, it's not somewhat entertaining to get a view into someone's personal life. Like, there is something entertaining about that. You know what I mean? There is something
there is. That's, you know, like, that's why, like, what's the term for these people now that are just, like, they're influencers?
Yes, social media influencers.
I cannot think of a better title. Yeah. I mean, seriously, like, that's a great title. The issue is that, like, no one reads it for face value. Like,
I agree. Yeah,
fucking literally what they are, an influencer. Like, that's like, pay me to wear your shit because I have tons of people following my channel that shows me sitting at the beach and I just take pictures of, like, you know, it's just my legs and then there's the ocean. Like, and if you crazy. And then if you pay me, I'll wear your sandals, so it's just my legs and then your sandals in the ocean. Like, because I'm a fucking influencer. Like, that, it's amazing. That's an amazing thing.
But there's also been a lot of market data, because I've looked into this a little bit, just because, A, I'm curious about it, but B, also, you wouldn't believe, like, I mean, how often I get hit up through my music, like, hey, I have 100,000 followers on this. If you pay me this money, I'll give you a shout out. And I'm like, no, it's all right, man. You know what I mean? Like, I'm cool.
Oh, sure.
But so I kind of looked into this from like a marketing standpoint, like taking, you know, like my music seriously. I have a manager, and like we kind of talk about these things, like what is actually truly going to be beneficial to kind of push, like, you know, our name and get and pull more attention to, you know, like my music. And honestly, it doesn't shake out, dude. Like, I don't have the data on the top of my head, just because I didn't know this is exactly what we'd be talking about tonight. But like, there's really not a lot of like people, like let's say I wanted to drive people to my page and I paid a huge influencer to do that. It really doesn't drive that many people to your brand or your page, because you're not targeting a specific audience.
Well, that's the thing. Right? You have to find an influencer who like fits your market like perfectly.
Perfectly, yes.
You know what I mean? Like, you couldn't give your music to Kylie Jenner and then have. Actually, I take that back. I'm sure you'd see something, but you know, like. That's the difference, though, is like there's like mega influencers, like a Kylie Jenner or something, where like, yeah, you fucking tell, you know, she would make you a platinum artist easily. But you would also have to pay, you know, millions.
Yes, an
for her to just drop your name in a tweet. Like, you know,
dude, yeah.
So the influencers that realistically you could pay, you have to be so fucking hyper focused, so direct in narrowing and honing in on your same market that it's just not that's not worth it.
And see, the problem is, it's like in the indie market, like there's not really a lot of people to do that because they think they're all assholes. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, there's not really the kind of music that I'm in, like the genre of music that I'm in, like that market. Like, if I was a pop artist, I'd probably be a lot easier to, you know, like find people who actually may push stuff. You know what I mean? Like people to my brand. I just know
you know who could push your stuff for you.
Who's that?
Billie Eilish.
You know, yeah, I suppose that she could. Yeah, I don't. Yeah. I suppose she could. See, I don't know that I want to say anything else about that, because I feel like you could give stuff away. But I guess you could. I will say this. I had the briefest interaction with Billie Eilish, and in the tiniest way possible, and it was still probably the highlight of the highlight of my entire career. But sadly, that will probably, unfortunately, that will probably be the highlight of my career. But yeah, man, I don't know. It's just a weird world out there. It's a weird world out there for sure. And I think specifically today, kind of what we wanted to talk about is, like, where's all this going? Like, we know that we're here now. We know that we have social media. We've seen kind of what it's grown into. But, like, what...
And there's things that are very, very, very successful about it. Especially in a situation like this.
Yes, and made it. Yes, absolutely. I mean, there are very, very good aspects.
By the way, my laptop will die, so I'm gonna have to finish this pod on my phone when it dies. So just heads up to everyone: when you come into dead air, you'll hear me calling, and I'll put you on speakerphone on my, and we'll finish this fucking thing off, because that's how professional we are.
It's going to be good. We'll say we're going to take a commercial break, and I'll make up a big commercial. Yeah, exactly. What I'll do is I'll push people to my music in our commercial break.
There you go, yeah. Drop the link.
Right, exactly, dude. That's exactly what I'll do. Yeah, I think that's kind of what we wanted to discuss tonight specifically. And we've made a very long-winded introduction, and but that's okay because honestly, I don't know about you, but I had a hard time finding any real concrete ideas as to where social media will go. I found a few ideas from marketing. I found a lot more marketing data as opposed to actual
Well, what do you mean?
Data.
What do you mean by marketing data?
I've seen this approached from a marketing standpoint, but not necessarily I have a couple articles that I found that's from more of a how social media will market in the future as opposed, or how people will market through social media.
Okay.
That was a lot easier for me to find data on that kind of stuff.
The thing is right now, social media wise, this is the way I view it. Again, I'm outside looking in, and I feel like sometimes that does a good job for you because you don't have the blinders on. You're not so hyper focused on, And so again, Twitter I think is this great source for your news. You can hone in on the type of news you want to receive, whether it's about your favorite music artist, your favorite comedian, politics, your local schools. You can hone in on whatever it is you want. And then you have Instagram that I think is more of that behind the scenes feel of let's try and get goofy creative with our posts and our silly videos. And then you got Facebook that I feel like at this point is more to actually keep in touch with family and friends.
It's just because everybody's on Facebook.
Right.
As far as popularity, it's definitely
it's not popular. The thing is, and I think they're doing a good job staying alive. Facebook by doing this is understanding that people's moms are on Facebook now. You know what I mean? So now they get that family approach, and that's why they're doing these their own version of Zoom. Have you seen that tablet thing that sits on a tripod and moves and follows you? That's great, especially in a time like this.
Genius. Yeah, genius. Really genius, yeah.
And I think they do a good job, owning that they understand who their market is now. Years and years ago, it wasn't, there wasn't older people on there, and now it's people's moms and grandparents and shit, and good.
Dude, my grandma's on Facebook, and it's great.
Is she really?
Yes, she is.
What?
And she doesn't know how to do anything except, she'll send me a wave every once in a while, and it's the cutest damn thing, dude. Through Messenger.
Do you understand that might be a good enough reason for me to be on Facebook?
Yeah. I think you need to. Yes, she is great. She will wave to you, and that's it because she doesn't know how to type. But she will wave to you, and it's the most adorable thing, dude. I'll just get a little ding on my phone, and it says a message from Grandma, and it's a wave.
I mean,
and it's so cute, dude.
I'll
it's
wave
adorable.
back.
Yeah, it warms my heart. Oh, I do wave back for sure. I send her pictures on there, and it is good because it's a good way for me to do that. You know what I mean? I can send Grandma a new picture of me with the new dog, Grandma a new picture with me and Kelly, and you know what I mean? Things and she'll wave, and it's nice.
Yeah.
My mom uses it to argue with people she doesn't have the same political views with, which she loves, and that's great for her. So I mean, it's just.
And tell me if I'm. All right, so again, we went Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and I feel like the other two. And tell me if there's any others that I'm forgetting here. But the other two big kind of social platforms, Twitch and TikTok.
Yes. Okay. So they're kind of a newer. Yeah, those are kind of the newer ones. TikTok is definitely younger generation stuff. I'm not on TikTok.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sure.
I'm sorry. Also YouTube, obviously.
Oh, yeah, I guess so. I guess it's kind of a. I wouldn't really. I guess I don't think of it as a social media platform, but I guess it kind of is. Yeah.
But it absolutely is because I feel like those were the original influencers or these vloggers. I feel like that was the original term, was vlogger.
Right. Well, I mean, definitely, like, for most people agree that I don't know, there's some debate over, like, the original social media. Like, a lot of people say that it's Second Life, which was kind of like where you build a second fake life. We actually talked about this in the Love episode. Remember, there was a person who married a character or somebody else or something like that?
Yeah.
That was Second Life. But there was also Friendster, which a lot of people don't think about. There was MySpace, which I hear is making a comeback.
Oh, bullshit. There's no way.
I've heard that multiple times now, that people are starting to move. They're going for a new approach.
You're not even on it.
Well, I guess they're redoing everything. No, I'm not. Well, I'm on old MySpace for sure. I'm definitely on old MySpace.
I'm somewhere on old MySpace.
If it's out there, yeah. As I say, if it's out there somewhere, I am on old MySpace. But I heard they redone everything. They're taking like a new, almost TikTok approach to it, where it's like short videos and shit like that.
They don't have money. They can't keep it going.
Well, they don't have what's his toe, so obviously they're not going to keep doing it. What was his name, Mark?
No.
Tom.
Yes.
Yeah, they don't have Tom, dude.
Yeah, but
I do follow.
Don't they have Justin Timberlake,
Tom
though?
on Instagram. He's pretty badass, dude. He's a photographer.
Oh, he is badass.
And,
No, he is badass. He is a photographer.
Yep.
He did great with MySpace in terms of selling it, you know?
Yep.
And now he just
Tom's
travels and takes photos, and that's it.
I think if they don't bring Tom back, there's no hope for them. It's almost like Apple when they didn't have what's his toes for that time period when they didn't have.
Search him and search his photos. I cannot say that enough, that his photos are amazing, honestly.
Dude, Tom is the bomb.
Yeah.
Tom the bomb. Dude, yeah. For sure. But I mean, so basically, so I have a couple articles. I have an article from Entrepreneur, and this article is termed 11 Ways That Social Media Will Evolve in the Future.
It's got to be virtual.
This is from, because I found a lot of older articles, but obviously those don't hold up. This one is from 2017, but it was as close to talking about what things are going to look like in the farther future than as I could find. I did find a weird website that was called literally "What Will Social Media Look Like in 2030.com," which I thought was going to be perfect, but it was a bunch of crazy shit, dude. I couldn't even navigate the website. So, but
maybe that's it.
I'm just gonna. Yeah, dude, I guess so, man.
We'll be too old to understand how it works anyways.
Dude, yeah, possibly. It's probably a time traveler. So I'm going to, just touch on these, briefly. I'm just going to literally read through them. So a focus on relationships is one of them. Diversity of personal posts is the second. And that's just, I think, talking of things like what you can do with personal posts, more personalization of posts. Users will pay, and I agree with this, users will pay for peace. So, to avoid all the marketing, and it will come to a point where it won't be, there will be free services, but it'll be like YouTube. You know how, YouTube has the thing now where you can have YouTube, if you pay for it, there's no commercials? Right. Yep. Similar to that, except for social media, which I totally agree that will happen. Yeah. Different types of groups. Which,
who are those people that pay for that shit, though?
No idea.
You know what I mean? You cannot be making that much money off of it.
I don't. Well, I think these people are paying. They're just paying for the fact to not have advertisements.
No, that's what I mean. Who pays for that? I guess you do for Spotify, don't you?
I do, yes.
That's
100%.
that's so
well,
weird to
there's
me.
other services with Spotify too. Like I can listen to an album without Spotify Premium. At least when I bought Spotify Premium, because I've had it for a while, it might have changed. But when I bought it, if you didn't have Premium, you couldn't listen to an album in order. It was shuffled.
I just
the tracks were shuffled.
I don't believe you on that, because I've never paid for it, and I remember, and I can specifically, I used to use it all the time, like when I was in college, and it would just everything was fine.
The last time I checked it,
I think you literally
refused...
did not even know how to use Spotify, so you paid the money and accidentally clicked randomized tracks off while doing so.
No.
And you think that it's been worth it ever since.
I just checked this like a year ago because I refuse to allow to give my wife my Spotify password so she can log in, because I don't want her shitty influence music coming up on my playlists, like my daily, like how it makes a daily playlist for you.
Oh, does it really?
I refuse to. Yeah.
Jesus.
I refuse to let her have my password because I do not want that fucking her bullshit music mixed in with my daily
That's
playlist.
Hilarious.
Yes, so, but I checked hers like a year ago, and it's still that way. Like, you can listen to a full album, but you cannot, like, listen to it in order of tracks. Like, you can't listen to it, like, you know what I mean, like 1 through 13 in that order. You can listen to all the songs, but they're shuffled. That was like a year ago, was the last time I checked.
I don't know. I think you're full of shit.
I don't know. Write us and let us know. SYWSOL@gmail.com. Increased focus on privacy. Number 6 is less gamification.
What does that mean?
Which I think this is interesting. So it says one of social media's key components is that it's highly addictive, even going as far as to be described as more addictive than cigarettes. New platforms will try to gear more toward long-term customer wellness as a feature by staving off the more addictive qualities, which I actually have another article that we'll talk more about that, because I do have an article about mental health issues related to social media. So that will come up in a second here. Legacy building, which is just like these companies will want to build a smarter, longer lasting like brand, kind of like how Facebook, like how you describe Facebook, like they're evolving to, you know, find their place and you know, build more of like their brand of a long-term company kind of thing. Yeah. Open to experimentation. Mobile native. So this is, it says a mammoth advantage new platforms will have is that they will, about after the smartphone became ubiquitous. I can't say that word. I hate that fucking word. Facebook and ubiquitous. There we go. Facebook and Twitter both came before they could really function on mobile phones, but future platforms will be designed with phones in mind from the beginning. So basically, that's what I mean.
I can agree with that, and I also think that that's just like that's just so. It's not dumb, because that's the majority of people. Like, don't even have a fucking laptop at this point. It's just so annoying. It's one of those things that are so annoying. Like, that's such a big reason why I don't fucking like social media, is because it's driven a lot of video content to go back to this box format rather than 16:9 widescreen. Like, we're just really fucking it up, and like I don't know, like that I really hate that. Like, we're purposely dumbing our shit down. That's what I hate about it. Like, we are purposely like, oh, get it out in 6 seconds because that's about all I can retain. Like, God damn.
Dude, that is the society that we live in, is like a 3-second fucking memory. Like that's the attention span nowadays. It's like
I am also like that, and I know that, but the way that I am like that is because I value my time and I'm busy, so I'm like, just fucking get it out what you're trying to say and let's move on. But if I'm watching something that I want to watch, it's because I've made the time to do that. And like I'm not at the pisser and like I want to scroll through Twitter and come across like a couple 5-second videos that I like. That's good. Next one. Okay, I'm done peeing. Like, no, like I made the time to sit down on my couch and watch this movie because I respect the art form.
Well, that's actually funny. There's a quote, and God, I can't remember who it's by, but it was like I think like a film critic is who it was by, or a director. But he said that basically, like, if like any film that's
and there it is. My laptop died. Knew it happened just right away. Just no questions asked. That being said, let me go ahead, give him a call. We will end this on the telephone. Bear with us in terms of quality, please. Por favor. And thank you.
And we're back.
Yeah, man. Here we are. This is the way this is gonna happen.
That's it, dude. That's yeah. I mean, that's okay. But to the point I was saying, I agree with what you were saying, and I think that, I mean, there's like a famous film critic or director that has a famous quote and saying basically like it should be sacrilegious to watch any film anywhere outside of a movie theater, because like that's where it was like intended.
Dude, that's where it's edited. Like that's where you do a lot of the sound design, like everything. Like that, dude, that's the part of, like, it's not only like the shots that are set up, it's not only the aspect ratio they chose, it's also the fucking sound design. That shit was mixed and mastered in 5.1 sound, like just, you know, surround sound. So we're putting everything back to this box form with just like you're playing everything mono anyways because you're watching everything on your phone. Like you're not.
Yep.
No one knows what the fuck surround sound is. Like, it blows my mind that we have this technology for this to make this great content, and we're not doing it. Instead, we're doing the opposite.
I think that's one of the most frustrating things for me, actually, as a musician, is like when, and I know, like, because, you know, like we work together, like you produce my stuff, and we've talked about this when you've you know, like worked on the sound engineering for like my music. Like, we sadly have to have the conversation of like, you know, this will sound good, how it's meant to sound, how will it sound on a cell phone though? What do we have to do to make this sound somewhat decent? Because 80% of the people who's going to hear this, it's going to be via a cell phone speaker.
Yeah, that's insane.
And it's disgusting that we have to have that conversation, because it's not the same thing. It's not at all. Like, as someone who appreciates music, I cannot stand, like, there are literally times where I will make my wife, like I'll say, like, hey, I'm working on this new song. I want you to come, like, get your opinion on it. And I will make her come and sit in the car where there's surround sound speakers. Like, I will not, like, she's like, we'll just play it on phone. I'm like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do it. Like, unless you have the time to come sit and listen to it in the car, like, I don't even worry about listening to it. And that sounds really douchey, but, like, dude, I don't care. Honestly, like, I mean, it can sound as douchey as it is, but, like, yeah. I want the music to be heard how I meant it. Like,
so that's the great thing about, like, my setup at my house is I have surround sound, so I have 5.1 surround sound, but like the audio I'm mixing, and for you it's like you can sit in a car because the car has what you would call stereo surround, because you got 2 front and 2 behind, and it's still just left and right.
Right.
And then you got 5.1 that is literally 5 speakers, and the 0.1 means the subwoofer that you have.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what's great about, like, there's stuff mixed in that, just not as much anymore. There's actually this new thing. I don't remember the name, dude. It's blowing my mind. I need to look it up more. I looked it up some, but what it does, you can use a pair of just stereo headphones, and it sounds like surround sound. I don't remember.
Really?
Dude, I will send you the track. I just gotta find it again. Like, there's stuff.
That's how I need my full-length mix, dude. That's how
It's
we
insane.
need to
It
mix
is
the
insane.
full-length.
I will look into it, actually, because it's like the fact that exists blew my fucking mind. Made me feel like a little kid again. Just like, how did they do this?
I'm so excited about that, dude. I can't even I got goosebumps. I'm so excited about hearing that.
I'll find what it's called, and I'll send you an example track, and you have to listen to the track with headphones on.
With headphones on, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you'll just be like, what in the fuck?
Yeah, dude, I'm pumped.
Do you have headphones where you're at, like on the road, or no?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll try and find it tonight.
I'm kind of a douchebag. I always carry my studio headphones with me. I have an adapter for my phone. Yeah, I'm
Same.
that guy. So yeah.
Same.
Yeah. I always got a pair of my Audio Technicas, dude. You always got to keep that. I love Audio Technica. That's my jam. That's like my brand. So.
Mine are Sennheiser.
Okay. See, I'm a little lower taste. I'm a little lower. I don't have the money to splurge.
No. But here's the thing: is I've got two of the same pairs, and I got them back when I was in college, and I still have them. So they're beat up for sure, but only cosmetically. They're wonderful.
Oh, I'm sure, dude. Yeah. Like I said, I actually surprisingly also have two of the same pair of Audio Technicas because I like them so much. Like that, if I'm working on the road or I'm working for my home studio, I can have the same pair of same pair of headphones, so it sounds the same. I have that consistency. So yeah. But so back to this entrepreneur article. The next one's build us up, don't tear us down, is what it says, which I kind of like this one. I think this is, again, pretty interesting. It goes more towards the long-term mental aspects of, the instant gratification and making everybody else's life look so much better. Basically, they want to make this more family and friend community-based as opposed to, basically building new social media with the focus of long-term mental health in mind. Which just kind of to me, that should say right there that if this is what these big companies are focusing on, that we should be worried about the long-term mental health effects. Because if they're
I was gonna say that just sounds like a business. That just sounds like a business opportunity. Right.
And then the last one is video, and more video. And I think this is already apparent that this article was written in 2017, and this was before TikTok. So obviously they're already moving in the direction of more video-based platforms.
Yeah.
So there you go. But while we're on that topic, there is another article that I found. I think this is Forbes.com. We actually do have some somewhat reputable sources this time. Not fantastically reputable, but more reputable than Higgy Pop. But this one is about the mental health effects of social media, and the article is called 6 Ways Social Media Affects Our Mental Health. So the first one is it's addictive. So experts have not been in total agreement on whether or not the internet addiction is a real thing, let alone social media. But there's some good evidence that both may exist. A study from Nottingham Trent University looked over earlier research on the psychological characteristics, personality, and social media use, and they concluded that it may be possible to speak specifically of Facebook addiction disorder because of addiction criteria, such as neglect of personal life, mental preoccupation, escapism, mood-modifying experiences, tolerance, and concealing the addictive behavior appear to be present in some people who use social media networks excessively.
It's insane.
And I think that should be obvious, right? I think that should be I think it was built. Who was the guy who's the whistleblower on this? He was somebody who worked with what's his ass from Facebook. There's a guy who wrote a book about this, and he worked originally with, like, on the team to develop Facebook, and he said that there was initially a team on Facebook who their job was just to basically make Facebook as addicting as humanly possible. Like, how can we make people spend the most time on this as humanly possible?
Smart.
I mean, yeah, definitely smart from, like, a marketing standpoint, just not necessarily, you know, with their users' health in mind. But so the next one is it triggers more sadness, less well-being. So the more we use social media, the less happy we seem to be. One study a few years ago found that Facebook use was linked to both less moment-to-moment happiness and less life satisfaction. The more people used Facebook in a day, the more these two variables dropped off. So it says that it's the fact that Facebook conjures up a perception of social isolation in a way that other solitary activities don't. On the surface, Facebook provides an invaluable resource for fulfilling such needs as allowing people to instantly connect, which we talked about, rather than enhancing well-being, as frequent interactions from supportive offline social networks powerfully do. The current findings demonstrate that interacting with Facebook may predict the opposite result for young adults. It may undermine it. So, there you go.
Right.
Next one is comparing our lives with others is mentally unhealthy, which again is something else that we literally just talked about.
Yeah.
So, and studies basically like looked at this as well, and I mean like supported this. I'm not going to read this verbatim, but that's basically what we just said. It can lead to jealousy and a vicious cycle. So it says that this triggers feelings of jealousy. The author of one study looking at jealousy and other negative feelings while using Facebook wrote that this magnitude of envy incidences taking place on Facebook alone is astounding, providing evidence that Facebook offers a breeding ground for invidious feelings, which I'm not sure what that means, but it doesn't sound good. I'll say that. Invidious feelings?
Yeah.
Not good.
No, it's probably not.
Next one is we get caught in the delusion of thinking it will help. It says part of the unhealthy cycle is that we keep coming back to social media even though it doesn't make us feel very good.
Like gambling.
It says it's known as forecasting error. So like a drug, we think getting a fix will help, but it actually makes us feel worse. So.
Yeah.
More friends on social media doesn't mean you're more social.
Correct.
Is the next one. So a couple of years ago, a study found that more friends on social media doesn't necessarily mean that you have a better social life. There seems to be a cap on the number of friends a person's brain can handle, and it takes actual social interaction, not virtual, to keep up these friendships. So feeling like you're being social by being on Facebook doesn't work. Since loneliness is linked to a myriad of health and mental health problems, including early death, getting real social support is important. Your virtual friend time doesn't have the therapeutic effect as time with real friends.
Yeah.
So that's the 6 mental health problems that they point out. I've also seen this linked to more anxiety in other studies, linked to depression in other studies. I looked at a few of these things just because I thought it was kind of interesting. But there is literally a plethora of articles. If you were just to search, I think the search I put in was long-term effects of social media, literally hundreds of articles about the negative mental effects related to. And this wasn't even, I didn't put like negative effects, I just put long-term effects of social media, literally all of them were negative effects. So, literally every article was the negative effects of social media. So, yeah, man, and honestly, that's one of the big reasons why I have, chose to stay away from social media except for my music stuff. And even there, my manager does most of my social media stuff because I just don't want to do it. You know what I mean? It doesn't make
That's the way to be. Just, it doesn't, again, if you want, I don't know, it doesn't, I've never felt like social media actually ever brought any sort of actual happiness you know, you just do social media to hope for the likes or the hearts or, you know, whatever, or the comments, you know, whatever the fuck it is, and to weigh how many people are paying attention to you versus not caring, you know.
Right. And I mean, I'll say that it's definitely a real thing. I'm not gonna lie. I would say recently I've went through like a slight Twitter addiction. I've been kind of hooked on Twitter recently. And again, it's just because like I see these like cool little likes, or I got like a new friend that I think is somebody cool, you know what I mean? Like that follows me now on Twitter, and like now I'm like, okay, I'm cool now. So, and then, you know, the bottom falls out when you realize, because I mean, like, I guess, I don't know if normal people, but I very quickly usually realize, like, seconds after, like, this initial excitement that this is all really just bullshit. So there's no reason for me to be excited. And I guess, again, I don't know if that's how it is for normal people, but usually, like, a minute of my excitement, it wears off, and I realize that. But then again, the next time it pops up, I see the little, like, you know, Twitter symbol on my phone, like, you know what I mean, like on the top of my phone, or I see the little heart, I instantly get excited again. Right. So, yeah, I mean, I can totally see how it pulls people in. I can 100% see that. I'm trying to see if I have any other articles on here that were of any interest. Oh, yes. Okay, so last thing that I personally want to talk about is the idea of how VR will affect social media.
Yep, absolutely it will.
I think that is interesting. There's already a couple of platforms that are branching VR to social media, and this comes from an article from the most reputable site on the interweb, the Sociable. So there you go. And this was from a year in the 2000s. I just can't find it off the top of my head what year this was. I think it was 2019. But yeah, there's already. Let's see here. So there's two companies already. There's AltSpace VR, and then Facebook had for a brief time a program called Facebook Spaces, and now it's Facebook Horizon. But these were both social media interlaced VR. So essentially, you put on your VR headset, you go into your little like person. I forget what they call those.
Avatar.
You know what I mean? Avatar. Thank you. Yeah.
There's like a couple movies made off of that name too. So.
Oh yeah. I think there was. I heard about a movie with that title. But you go into these little avatar bodies, and you just hang out with your friends.
Yeah.
In a fake little avatar space.
Yep.
I mean, how does it feel knowing that we're going to be doing a podcast soon, face to face with little VR avatar people?
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. I'm gonna kick you in the dick. I'm gonna kick your avatar in the dick, dude. I'm so gonna do that.
I don't know why you would.
I just wanted because I can.
I mean, okay. Like, I feel like we'll both laugh just as hard because, like, it won't hurt. It won't hurt.
It's
me.
not gonna hurt you. No. Exactly. I wouldn't do it if it was gonna hurt you. I think that's how it won't. That's how I'm gonna greet you every episode. At the beginning of every episode, just kick your avatar right in the dick.
You know what's gonna be bad about that though, and I think what some things that already happen are like in those little avatar rooms or whatever that people are just there just talking or whatever, like there's still those fucking retards that are in there yelling like just racial slurs for no reason.
Yeah, I feel like anywhere we go though, like whatever platform, however we evolve, as far as all this goes, there's still going to be those assholes that are just yelling racial slurs. I don't think we're ever going to get away from it. I mean, people. I don't know.
I think you can. I think with a little bit more moderation on these rooms, someone paying attention to that stuff who like can controls that platform or whatever can just mute them, or like what Twitter does, the shadow banning. Like yeah, I think this person is just not going to be able to get in this room ever again.
Yeah, and I think that's okay. I think you have to have a space for those people, though, or you're looking at. And this was another
yeah, it's
thing
called a clan. They don't go looking for rooms.
Yeah, dude, where's the KKK meeting VR social media? Dude, oh my god. But that's another thing that I ran into in a couple articles as well, was like,
they don't have a KKK emoji, so we all chose ghosts.
I can't put a hood on my avatar, and I'm upset about it. Like, I'm just like, they're gonna get a myriad of messages about it, dude. Just like,
we all had to choose Casper avatars.
Have you ever seen Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Of course.
The scene where they're right before the fucking, like, everything gets burnt down.
Yeah.
He's like, well, you know, Jim's wife made him, like the man.
Yeah.
It was a nice gesture, but we can't see it. She didn't put the damn holes. Yeah, I know, dude. That was one of the funniest scenes in any movie that I've ever fucking seen, dude. Oh my god, I laughed so fucking hard at that scene. Genius, dude. The Coen brothers are fucking genius.
Yes, they are.
But I think that, like, also, how is the government going to moderate? You know what I mean? Like, there definitely, inevitably is going to be government, like they are going to...
What do you mean, how?
Like, well, I'm not saying, like, how. I don't know. I guess I am saying how. Like, what do you think that will look like, government moderation of social spaces, like virtual social spaces? Not necessarily like VR, but like social spaces in general.
Well, I mean, everyone's linked via some sort of IP address.
So you think they'll just be like shutting people down, like fucking...
Yeah, for starters, yeah. You know, like, so it'll be private companies that, you know, own these rooms that, but also have to, you know, upstand some sort of internet law that might be in place.
Because, I mean, we're already seeing this with the, you know, swaying of the elections. Like, people saying, like, influencing, like, different countries outside, you know what I mean? Like, outside players influencing elections and things like that.
Yeah. And also just, like, of course, they're going to say that because that's something that can be said now.
Well, yeah, now, I mean, now that can of worms is open.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they'll find a way, like, for sure.
I mean, I definitely see that in the future of social media as well, though, as the government being a bigger player. And then, of course, you'll have, you know, First Amendment rights, like, being violated and all that kind of shit. There'll be talk of all that, you know, freedom of speech and what have you. I think it's just... I don't know, man. I think ultimately my answer to this question is it's going to be a fucking hot mess like it is now. I think social media was something... I kind of see social media as an inadvertent Pandora's box, that now that it's open, we can't shut, and I think that it will end up long-term doing much more damage than it does good.
Well...
That's my personal opinion on social media. I'm not a fan of it. I've been vocal for a long time about not being a fan of it, and I think that people get a lot less out of it than they think they do, and we're just making these companies
Here's the thing, though, is like
God could ever dream of, dude.
Yeah.
More wealthy than any individual companies have ever been, based off of, like, our data, which is a dangerous thing as well, you know what I mean, when we start tracking, because the social media thing opened the door of tracking every aspect of how to market to people as well.
Yeah,
like,
but we allowed it.
We did. It's like, I say all the time, like, Big Brother, you know, they almost had it right in 1984, except it wasn't that the government pushed this on us. We accepted Big Brother into our homes. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Like, we've taken
and now
the thing is keep
keep an eye out for how they, because this has already happened once and didn't go through, but they're trying to figure out, the government's trying to figure out how to divvy up kind of like the internet with providers, right? So they've tried this where like, okay, Verizon, you get Facebook and Instagram, AT&T, you get Twitter. If you're a Verizon holder and and it's just going to depend on the internet provider for you to try and figure out how to get that Twitter if you own Verizon, and if you want to be able to see all of the internet. Like it's just going to be a huge scam in that sense, right? Like they're going to be able
to some extent, I agree with you, but to another extent, I mean, these companies kind of are monopolies to a certain extent.
Well, that's like exactly what they are.
And it makes me nervous when any company has that much wealth, that much sway in public opinion. Right. That makes me nervous. That makes me very nervous.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Is like that's why they're going to have the ability to do this, is because, it's just going to be, okay, you get those. So, like, yes, we agree, everyone's a monopoly. Everyone's got relatively the same prices across the board. The thing is like, it's like, but if we all keep the same prices, if we lower our prices $10 each, these assholes are going to come to both of us because I only provide X and Y and you provide Z. So with us combined, they can get everything they want online.
Right. Oh, I'm sure, yeah, there'll be other companies to pick up. I mean, basically with technology, it's always like government regulation is like 2 steps behind it. You know what I mean? And the tech companies are just going to keep accelerating at an exponential rate.
Well, and that's the hope, is like they figure out like great VPN. Like the hope for me is that like Anonymous comes fucking out of nowhere because they've been silent for forever. And just, you know what I mean? And just like, well, no, you're not going to regulate this shit.
Yeah, I mean, I like Anonymous. I wish they'd do a little bit more. I wish they would come and crush some more big companies and governments and things. I think they're good people.
Yeah, they've been silent for a while, huh?
Yeah. Hackers hackers make the world go round, in my opinion.
Hackers decided to stop being hackers when Mr. Robot came out. They're like, oh, it's cool now to hack. Fuck this.
Yeah, and with Julian Assange getting like fucked, like railroaded.
That's fair. That's actually probably a much better point.
But I mean, he had to live like a fucking hermit, looking like fucking Gandalf when he came out of there when he finally got arrested. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. How long do you think it's going to be till Amazon jumps on the social media bandwagon?
Till Amazon does?
Yeah, until they get some kind of platform of their own.
So like technically they already have it.
Do they?
Well, just because they have, Amazon Prime, and which by that
they have their video streaming service.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so they got their video streaming service, and not only that, but they have their hand in so much tech related stuff, right? So like they have what's called Amazon Web Services. It's AWS. Anything that you see says like, powered by AWS is them, Amazon, and so like, and they also have something called S3. So S3 is where a lot of people's like internet, like their websites, their domains live, right? Like my website lives on this server called S3 that is owned by Amazon, and if S3 goes down, then my website crashes until Amazon fixes their shit. A lot of companies depend on Amazon, and so because of that, they've already got this infrastructure that goes well beyond needing social media, because social media already depends on Amazon. And if it's not Amazon
Yeah.
S3, it's something Google related, because Google's the same way. Like they have their own cloud services like that as well for these companies. Like like they
Google scares the fuck out of me.
They are the monopoly.
Google scares the fuck out of me, dude.
Yeah, it's incredible.
They are a scary son of a bitch.
They are incredible.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my phone, you know, I have Google Photos that all of my photos go to, and my phone has, if I click albums within Google Photos, it has everything in my phone broken up from facial recognition. That includes pets. So, like, I can see my dog from, like, the day I got her, all in an album. Just every photo in my phone that has my dog in it is in her album that I did not create, that it created from facial recognition. Like, same goes with, like, you know, my son, my daughter, and my son, you know, that's 2 years of data now. So, like, everything from day one, like, birth, up until him being 2, like, the kid doesn't even, it's not the same face. So how the fuck does it know that?
I see, and I think this brings up a good point. We're really, our generation that we were born in, we're not really going to ever see the long-term effects of, like, for real, what technology has created.
Oh, yeah, just the dependency.
The people who are really going to see this are the people who are being born now in the middle of this technological boom that we're in.
Yeah.
I truly believe that people, if there is human beings, they will look back at this time period that we're living in, like we look at, like, the Industrial Revolution or, like, the Bronze Age. You know what I mean?
For
like,
sure. That's a great
turning
point. Yeah.
Or, you know, like, the humankind. Like, they will look at this as, like, look back when they used to have this artifacts, which we called personal computers, where they sat these big motherfuckers on their desks, and they had these ginormous screens, and you literally could, like, make a dot of pixels bounce back and forth between two paddles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this is going to be like history book shit that we're in.
For sure. I mean, a lot of the shit
we live in a weird time, dude. We're like,
we really do.
Revolution. We're getting plagued on, dude. We got an orange Cheeto president, dude, who's trying to kill everybody.
Yeah, but that's not, orange Cheeto president is not to knock jalapeno Cheetos, and for our dudes and our homies and our brothers out there in prison using it as seasoning. Let's get that.
Yeah, our homies, start prison reform now. Let our homies out. They just said some weed, dude. Let them out.
Let them out.
Let them out.
Let them out.
But I have nothing left to say on this topic, dude. I think
me either. We could go on and on and on, but I think, like, you know, ultimately, what's a good ending question, right? So ultimately, do you, like, are you going to continue to, like, well, you are, right? There's not even a good ending question, because it's just like, well, it's just a thing now that exists that's not going anywhere.
I think I would like to ask, if I want to ask our audience anything, like, I guess I would ask, because I know, like, everyone is, like, do you truly believe that social media, like, affects your life in a positive way? Like, that's what I want to know. Like, do people really believe that? Like, are they really unaware of, like, the negative effects of social media? Do you feel the negative effects of social media? That's what I want to know.
Dude, I'm so bad oftentimes at responding to texts that, like, I don't even understand how people can live on not just, like, responding on Twitter, but, like, that person probably has, again, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Like, how does that not take up all of your time going between 5 different fucking apps? Like, that's what doesn't make sense to me. The reason you have all these apps is fear of missing out.
I would tell you this, just trying to somewhat keep up with, like, my music stuff on these different platforms is exhausting. And that's no exaggeration. Like, I get so tired of like answering message and trying to do this and trying to do that and reaching out to, you know, this podcast and reaching out to this person and doing this and, you know, responding like to this person. It just, to me, it's exhausting, dude. I get exhausted even by the thought of it. Like, there are times I just don't want to touch I don't even want to look at my phone in the morning with the thought of like how much I have to do.
I sleep with my phone on airplane mode.
Yes.
I do. So every time I lay my head down, my phone's on airplane mode, and which I like because I don't get bothered. You know, my phone does not wake me up. However, I dread turning it off of airplane mode every morning.
Yes. I mean, I don't put mine on airplane mode, but I definitely dread, like...
Because it's just like, okay, let's see what all is going to flood in. Because everything, like texts and whatnot that I miss, they just...
That would be even more stressful for me than just letting it ride all night on silent. Because I turn my phone on silent at night, but I know in the morning when I look at my phone, there's going to be a bajillion things that I have to do.
So that's a good question. Is I'm a new iPhone owner. How do I turn it on silent then? Like how? Like my phone always gives a vibrate.
I don't know. I'm not an iPhone user, which is surprising because I Mac everything else. Like I have a Mac PC, not like PC, but a Mac like desktop.
Well, what the fuck, dude? We tried to FaceTime once before, and you're like, it's not working. Like, no. Oh, so you don't have a fucking iPhone, dude?
No iPhone.
Obviously, because FaceTime doesn't exist if you don't. Oh my god, dude, what?
No iPhone.
You're an idiot.
I am very technologically incapable of doing anything.
Oh my god. You're like, yeah, FaceTime? I got it. Let's do it.
I have something similar to it, I think. I don't know what the fuck it is, dude.
Well, it's not the same thing then.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I thought it was all the fucking same, dude.
Oh my god.
Fuck, dude.
All
right, peeps. Well, you know what? Just fucking keep sucking up. Put your brain caps back on. Let the social media suck your fucking soul out of the top of your skull or your asshole.
There's no reason not to.
Yeah, just let it fucking burn, dude, and, you know, enjoy being part of the Matrix, I guess.
Yeah, because that's all we have left. Don't go out in the nature.
That's where we're moving, dude.
Right now.
That's it, brother.
Alrighty.
Right. That's it. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. So we will see you next week on another episode. Be stoked about it. Be pumped about it. Be hyped about it. That's right. You gotta get the woos going, dude. Ow. I am Mike.
And I'm Jake.
Later, bitches.
Get the fuck out of here.